Okay, welcome back to part 2 of this scene. Last night I got started on this scene, and the spirit of it changed with the smearing of some of the black ink. It was pulling some of the ink off the impressions, you know, because I just didn't let it dry long enough. And so I'm changing the scene around from the initial concept to something quite different. It was going to be something a little bit more tranquil and peaceful in nature, and I'm turning it into something more, I don't know, stormy and full of movement, I guess you can say. I stamped the barn at a bit of an angle to give the scene more of a kind of a dynamic composition, and I don't know, we'll see how this goes here. You never know how these things are going to turn out sometime. And this one's no different. This is a blue Marvy that I'm using right now, and let's see, let's go with let's see if I have my Prussian blue, super dark blue tone, blue value. And as I do this in the composition, I used snow texture down here, and the scene is getting fairly dark here, so I don't see a lot of that snow texture in there anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'll go back in and reintroduce that shape, or that stamp, that texture again, but I'll do it with a darker value than what I used yesterday. Okay, so at no point in time can you not go back in and stamp something that might have disappeared with all of the, you know, the tonal additions that you do, you know, through whatever method, coloring method. Alright, that being said, let's go and reintroduce some of the snow texture, and why don't we just do it in black. Okay, I'm just using my black Marvy pad. Stamp it out. Looks good. Okay. Building up my texture. Okay, a bit more of a rippled look, kind of adding to the, you know, it looks like waves or something like that running across there. Let's see. Let's go back with some of this black now. Started adding some black to the corners of the composition. Let's go in and kind of smooth out some of these impressions a little bit. Okay. I want it textured in there, but I don't want it all the same texture running across in there. I don't want it too busy, you know, so busy looking. So I'm going in and adding some darker shading down there, just to kind of subdue the contrast between the impression and the background. Okay. Now, let's go for a little bit of a hue change here. This is a deep lilac. It's kind of like a very pale violet tone. It's a good one to use, kind of if you want a little bit of a violet tone without going into anything too extreme in terms of value change. Yeah, like you wouldn't want to go with something like, you know, this is violet right here, it's super dark. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll put some on this barn as well. Hit the side of the barn. Maybe. Okay. This is violet. I'm adding it to my shadows now. It's kind of ended up being just a darker hue more than anything. Okay, I didn't add it down there, but okay, let's see here. Tell you what, let's go into that barn a little bit. This is a 827 permanent Le Plume. Kind of fleshing out the barn a little bit. What it is a kind of a fairly light tan. Okay. And how about, oh, this is 848. I don't know if these numbers mean anything to you, but they don't really to me, but sometimes people ask me, you know, what colors I used in a given spot. Basically, I'm just, I don't know, I'm just looking through, you know, my, you know, the pens here and picking something light, then working a little bit darker. That was for the shade. It's too dark of an area there, so what I need to do is I need to smooth that out a little bit and blend it in a touch, like so. This is 855. And again, you don't have to, you know, you don't have to worry about the specifics. I'm certainly not. I'm just going with whatever I have, you know, right next to me. Go with something dark. It's kind of working like this: light, dark, then go back to the light to kind of blend it out a little bit, smooth things out. Whatever colors you might be using. All right. A little bit more of that brown. How about some kind of bare foliage on the ground? Kind of maybe indicative of winter. spiny branches. Something like that. I'm gonna come in again from the other side as well. Kind of frame it off a little bit. So much for kind of a nice, tranquil, little barn setting. It's looking more like a, I don't know, something haunted to me or something like that. These are winter twigs small. I think that's what I named them. 368A as far as the code goes. I'm going to take off some of this down here at the base of it, just so when it set it into the scene, it kind of looks like it doesn't end abruptly, since it is supposed to be kind of poking out of the snow somewhere. I'm going to take off a little bit more even. So I have some kind of larger, closer branches, twigs in the foreground. And why not have some smaller ones, kind of going off into the distance in the background, like that. It kind of, breaks up the space a little bit, wide open area, and kind of reintroduces something kind of crisp into the background. All right. Wow. I say wow in terms of, kind of something not ending up really anything like, the initial concept. Not that I had a super firm concept in mind when I started out this scene. It was more, just exploration, I guess, in terms of composition. But it was going to be more of a kind of a still, quiet, barn in a snowy field. I'll do that one next time, maybe. I'll let the stamp out the composition before I start the scene and kind of let it. This is an overhanging limb, have something coming from up above. I can see I'm stamping most of it off the scene. Okay. Coming from above. Let's do that again. Let's do it over here, maybe. Kind of, I like the look. Kind of gives it, since the spirit of the scene is, quite different, maybe it gives it a more claustrophobic look, in terms of the emotional kind of spirit of the scene. It's kind of I don't know, to me it looks a little bit spooky. And kind of have, it has like these arms or limbs kind of reaching in to the scene. Kind of arms reaching up, from the snow. Alright. I didn't think I was going to have to go into a third part for this, but I am. I'm about at 15 minutes here, and I will put the finishing touches on this. I think kind of a snow flurry in here or something like that would be kind of interesting, so I'll do that with the bleed-proof white. Okay, so anyways, thanks for watching part 2, and I hope you enjoy this scene as it's developing.